easier.
Yes, they are. Starting right now. So we are live right now. We've had a little bit of technical issues preceding this broadcast, but we're strong. We're strong folks. So we are
Yes, we
going
are.
to proceed as if nothing has happened.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sonia Fulayon, and this is the Mind and Manna channel on YouTube. We talk about things related to Mexico, since that's where I live and that's where my guest lives, moving abroad. Uh, and I particularly, at this stage of my life, I'm helping women who want to improve their finances so that they can live up to a more intentional way of life that includes freedom, rest, travel, and ease. So we talk about that on this channel. And also, I do like to create a safe space for the voices of Black women over 55. I think our voices are often neglected and not heard. And oftentimes when we speak, we're not listened to. So this is the place where our voices are elevated and uplifted because uh, I believe that when we support women, any woman, we support whole families and communities, and that certainly is the case for Black women. So today, I have a wonderful guest. Her name is Sunshine Johnson. I met
Hi.
Sunshine a few years ago, and I'm going to have her introduce herself to you, and to talk a little bit about the important business that she has here, Lakeside, in Lakeside, Mexico. And so, with that being said, oh, let me just say before I forget, if the topical areas that we talk about on this channel are of interest to you, please do like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share the information on this channel. So, with that being said, I'm going to turn the baton over to you, Sunshine. Please introduce yourself, please.
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Floria Sunshine Johnson. And most people here don't know me by my first name. They know me by Sunshine because that's how I introduced myself when I came to Mexico 3 years ago. I live in the San Nicolas de Abada area, a small pueblo right outside of the central Lake Chapala area. It, it's about 6 to 7 thousand people in this farming area. This is truly horses, cows, ducks, chicken area, and I love it out here. It is a beautiful place to be. I am at this point attempting to learn Spanish, but because of where I live, I'm immersed in the culture here. And it's a lot easier. And people know me, they're friendly, and I have just acquired so many wonderful people living here in Mexico. Now, when I arrived in 2021, I was in Guadalajara. I was getting my teaching certification to teach English and basically haven't done much with teaching because I've been doing other things in the community of San Nicolas and in Chapala. I am a chaplain for the American Legion in Chapala, and I just love being here. I mean, I'm turning 74 next month. Oh, no, this month. This is June. And losing track of time here. And I just, my life has just been so different since I've come to Mexico. I came here from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I lived there for 14 years. And beautiful place to be, but I wanted to make that move into a total immersion into a Mexican culture. So here I am, and I met Sonia. Actually, I met Sonia on the bus. I was going to where were we going? San Antonio, the little town called San Antonio. I met her, she and her daughter,
Yes.
and it was, I had seen her before, but I was too far away to just reach out and say hi. So I saw her on the bus, and that's how we became friends. And we've been friends ever since. been here. This is my third year here.
It has been absolutely wonderful.
Hmm.
I I um I want to ask you. I I've talked recently to a number of women who are in their
Hmm.
mature years.
Hmm.
And some of them have said, I wish I could have moved sooner. It's too late for me. I'm too old. I'm 70, I'm 71, 72, 73. I'm 65. It's just it's I don't know that I can do it. What would you say to women who are thinking like that, who really want to do it but think that it's too late, it's too hard?
I say go for it. Now, everybody cannot pick up and leave the way I left. I quit my job and I actually, what I could not sell, I gave away. And I was in Mexico 3 weeks later. And what can I say? Some people have to do a lot of planning. And it is suggested that you plan to come to Mexico. This is another country, and you cannot come here with the same expectations that you would have as you were living in the US. Totally
For
surprised.
for example, give me an example. Give me an example
Okay, I'm gonna
of an unrealistic expectation.
that you can be here or come here and expect the same type of experience of when you lived in the US. And the example is, I'm going to give you a perfect example. When I first got to, I came into through Guadalajara because I was going to school. I had already mentioned that. I rented an apartment sight unseen, and I trusted that the landlord was, above board and respectful, and just doing what she was supposed to do. When I got in at like 1:30 in the morning because I had a late flight from Virginia, and when I got to the apartment, it was not the one that was posted on the website. Totally different. Same building, different apartment. And it was
Mhm.
grungy, and there was no food and no water, nothing. And the next morning, I talked with the landlady, and she was like, "Well, um, this is part of what I posted on, the website." And I'm like, "No, it's not." And so I actually left the next day, and I was out of 500 US dollars that my family had given me to secure this apartment. So at that time, I decided that I was going to learn everything I needed to learn about renting and the customs and the culture here in Mexico, so I could provide that information to other people who are looking to come and live in this area of Lake Chapala, Jalisco, Mexico. It's a wonderful place to be. I just chose to be out of the central area of Chapala because um, less people, and I'm immersed in the culture here because of where I live.
Can you give an example of how you're immersed in the culture in San Nicolas?
Um, I say hello to everyone, and the little Spanish that I do know, I make mistakes, but we all laugh together because some of my Spanish words are not, you learn Spanish to be understood. And a Spanish teacher told me this. She said, you learn Spanish to be understood, not to necessarily understand while you're learning. So I practice Spanish on uh, Google Translate and other platforms that will teach you Spanish. And so that's how I learn. But the way I learn is to just be immersed in the culture, and people, they're willing to teach me because I'm willing to learn. And even
Yeah.
though I mess up a lot, because I don't know everything. I'm not at a point of conversational Spanish yet. I pick words to just get the point across of what I'm asking for. But immersion for me was the best way for me to learn, and not a
Mm-hmm.
classroom. So
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot
Mm-hmm.
of classes out
Mm-hmm.
here. There are a lot of great teachers of the Spanish language that have a real command and are fluent with Spanish to learn from. Just because I got my certification to teach English, just because I know I know English doesn't mean I can teach it. And it's the same way with learning Spanish. Just because a person speaks Spanish does not mean they can teach Spanish. But there are a lot of great Spanish teachers here.
Absolutely.
Yes, with online classes as well
I like
as.
what you said about.
Mhm.
No, go ahead.
And there are a lot, again, there are a lot of wonderful Spanish teachers here in the Chapala area that can teach you Spanish, and you learn fast.
What I was going to say is that I like what you said, and I find it true
Hmm.
that as we are conversing in Spanish or making an attempt to speak in Spanish, if we make mistakes, we are
Hmm.
corrected very gently and lovingly and with laughter. And
Hmm.
that just makes it so much easier to learn. It's so different from the attitude I think that many Americans have when people are not speaking English. Go back to where
Hmm.
you can. I mean, there's a lot of anger and resentment, but
Yes.
what I have found is that the people are very gentle and encouraging, and they really are delighted when we do speak Spanish and whatever
Hmm.
level it is that we are speaking it.
Yes. I have had several encounters, but I'm only going to share one in little detail. But I heard a gentleman tell a woman in a Mexican lady who was conducting business in this particular store that she needed to learn how to speak English. And I kind of lost my mind at that moment because I said to him, she does not do you realize where you are? You are in Mexico. She doesn't need to learn to speak English unless she wants to. You need to learn her language. And as a matter of fact, why don't you just leave? Because you're being
Right.
disrespectful to the Mexican people and especially to this woman. I think you just need to leave because you just need to leave. And he left. And that privileged attitude does not work here. The Mexican people here will not confront you with your disrespect. They will shun you, and they will remember you, and they will spread that word about
Hmm.
you to everybody that with is within their circle. And I just find that to be appalling, to come to another country and expect that you can treat people that way um, in their country. And I don't tolerate disrespect. If I see it, I will stop it. That's just the way I am because I know how I've been treated when I lived
Sunshine,
in this.
how has
Mhm. I'm listening.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. Well, that brings me to my next question, and that is, how has your move to Mexico, how has that impacted your overall life and your lifestyle?
I am the happiest and joyful. There's a difference between joy and happy. Figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have the most joy and the most happy since I've been living here in Mexico because when I got here, I was heavier than I've ever been in my life. And because of the lifestyle here, the change of diet, the walking, the overall environment for me in Mexico changed my life. to um, the point that I am having so much fun living here in Mexico. And I just wish everyone could have that experience that I'm having right now. And I love living here. I'm hoping, my intention is not to go back ever to live in the States again. Now, I need to clarify that because I am still a US citizen, I'm not changing that.
Mhm.
If I had not been born in the US, I would not be able to live here because I retired
Mhm.
from the US. I miss my family very much. They are my biggest supporters of my living here. They not only um, support me financially, they support me spiritually in prayer. And I'm talking to one of my children every day. I'm talking to somebody every day. I talk with my grandson who lives in Texas, and I'm a hop, skip, and a jump away from him. He lives in, it's either Dallas or Houston. I forget sometimes, but I'm a 2.5, maybe 3 hour plane ride to him. And he came out to visit me a couple of months ago, and we had the very best time. And I have posted videos on my Facebook page of his visit with me. We had a great time, and I'm hoping he'll come back soon. My other children haven't visited yet because airline prices just got stupid a year and a half to 2 years ago. So when they
Mhm.
were making plans to for them to visit, and when they can, they can. But overall, my living here has literally changed my life for the better. I'm healthy. I eat well. I cook a lot, and I share with my friends like you and other people that I know. I'm living my best life now. I don't know what else to say about that. It's great, and I'm good.
I love that. I love that. I love your enthusiasm, and it shows. It shows on your face.
Yes, yes.
You looked great when I met. Yeah, you look great when I met you, but you obviously have. You've shed some pounds in the
Yes,
time that I've known you.
hmm yes, yes. The bus stop is right in front of the B&B, and I can, from my apartment, I walk down to the bus stop, which takes me like a minute, and I get in the bus on the bus, and I ride into Chapala, where everything I need is drugstore, shopping for every other day. I go and buy fresh vegetables because when you buy out fruits and vegetables here, you have to cook that stuff within a day or two. That's how fresh it is because it goes bad very fast. Um, and I eat healthy, and I do have a physician that I don't need to see but once for 6 months. uh, so I have established my healthcare policy here, and even my end of life stuff, which I am almost finished with, for being here in Mexico, because I'm not going back to the US to be at end of life. I'm not going back to the US for, to be buried or whatever. I'll say it right here. And so, my family appreciates that I'm taking the initiative to make sure that
So
I'm taking care of myself.
I missed like the last minute of what you were saying, but I think you were saying that you have taken the initiative to handle all of your end of life affairs here.
Yes, yes, that's important.
Yeah.
And I think that I've talked to, you know, other women that who have not done that. And I think it's one of the first steps you should do when you decide that you're going to live in Mexico and pursue your temporal or your permanente. I have my temporal because I went through the amnesty program. Um, and I got my temporal last year. So I have 3 more years to go, and I'll have my permanent residency here in Mexico. And I was so happy when I got that card. I'm not showing you my card because my number's on it. But when I got that card, it was a happy day. Oh, happy day. So there are a lot of benefits when you have your temporal and your permanent here in Mexico that you can have, like getting I forget the name of the card you can get to get benefits for riding the bus, for discounts on medications, and yeah, there's a lot that you can do here once you get here and decide you're going to stay here, to help have the benefit of living here in Mexico, especially in this area.
You can get discounts to go to the spa, and I believe that there are discounts to go to the museums and libraries too.
There are.
I haven't gotten my card yet, but that's on
Yes.
my list. I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know what you mean. What you mean? How I know how I felt when I got my residency card. It was a
Ooh,
very thrilling experience. It was an accomplishment. You know, it
yes.
was an accomplishment.
Yes. Yes. And I just want to reiterate to people that how important it is to connect with people here. There are a lot of services here. I mean, Sonia, I know your program. I know your how you're helping women to want to come here and live here in Mexico. That is one of the things that attracted me when I met you, to you and other women that I have met who are really attempting to help women get here and want to stay here in Mexico and not feel like, oh, I made a mistake going there, because you provide a service that women can use and need, whether you're planning to come in here, or I met women who packed a suitcase and hopped on a plane and they're here. And now what do I do once
Yeah.
I'm here? There is some, like said earlier, everybody can't just jump up and leave the way I left. But I had nothing else to do. I hated my job. So I left. And I met some wonderful people living in
Mm-hmm.
Albuquerque, New Mexico. I lived there for 14 years. So it had to be, good when I was there. And it was, until it wasn't. And then I left.
Mm-hmm.
My goal when I went to Albuquerque was to become a,
Well, thank you so much for
yes.
it's that lag. Keep going. It's okay.
No, well, my goal when I left North Carolina to Mexico was to become a certified trauma chaplain. I accomplished that goal. University of New Mexico helped me to accomplish that goal. And I was a chaplain for the Albuquerque Police Department, as well as my training came from the University of New Mexico Hospital. And I accomplished what I had set out to do. And now I'm here and attempting with my training to help people get through their grief and loss. So that's another whole subject right there. But I don't want to talk about that here for this podcast. But anyway, I'm happy. I'm happy living here, and I'm hoping that between you and me and other women who are reaching out to ladies and women who still live in the States and they're thinking about coming to Mexico, put your plan together. Please come. There's more than enough help to help you to get here and want to stay here. Again, I am stressing that
Well,
point.
let's talk. Let's take a few moments.
Okay.
Well, I wanted to thank you for acknowledging what I'm doing, but I also want to talk about what you're doing here. You have developed a concierge service.
Hmm.
You also made mention of the B&B. You were a founding partner of that B&B, and
Yes.
our B&B uses your concierge service. You are
Yes.
so grounded into the community. So I
Yes.
want you to take a few moments to tell us about your concierge service and why it's important.
It's important because you need to know what you need to know before you decide to come here. And the service that I provide is for women who will contact me on my uh, at my email. I am in process of setting up a website, but you can reach me through sunshine.lakechapalaconcierge@gmail.com. So what I do when people contact me and they want to know where they want to live in the Chapala area, I will go and shoot a video for them with the owner, the landlord, the managing uh, person for that apartment. I will shoot a video with the again with the manager or whoever so they can see the place. And you need to know what questions to ask. And some of the very most important question for me was, number one, how do I pay the rent? Is it through, some landlords will accept Zelle if they have an American bank account, and some landlords do. Or how do I pay my rent through pulling money out of a Mexican bank account? I don't have one. I just pull money out through the ATM. Um, the questions are that you need to ask is about the water system. You need to know about how to pay your light bill, because now landlords are requiring that you have to pay your own light bill and the internet service. Um, some landlords do provide it for you, but that's at a cost. What type of internet speed do I need if you're working online? Um, where I live at is not great, but it's good enough to, if you're just going to, just need internet service to send emails or whatever. What I do requires a little more speed. And so sometimes I'll go into a Chapala area where the internet speed is a lot better. Then there's questions about, what type of, this is a country of celebrations. And there, I don't call this noise. This is this
Yes.
country's how they celebrate. And you need to know where, you need to ask questions about their celebrations. And a lot of people come here and call it noise. Um, how can you call a country that celebrates a lot of their history and their culture? How do you come here and call that noise? It's their celebrations. And there are people who have come here and trying to attempt to shut down cultures in their music in restaurants or bars, or your next door neighbor who can party till 3 o'clock in the morning because they're celebrating whatever the celebration is for that week or for that day. Um, there's, I call them the giant firecrackers because they're called cajotes. When I first got here, I was living in San
Hmm.
Antonio, and the the cojotes were going off, and I was in the shower, and I thought the building was being bombed. That's how ignorant at that time I was of the celebrations here. And I lived next door to a church. So I ran out of the house with just a towel wrapped around me, and I always keep a to-go bag at my front door with my information, passport, a couple of changes of clothes. So my landlord lived right next door to me, and I'm standing outside wrapped in a beach towel, and he looks at me and he says, "Floria, is there a problem?" I said, "Are we being bombed?" And I never heard the last of it to, till, if I see him, he's still laughing because I wasn't used to that. I had never heard of a cajote before laying on a giant firecracker. It was hilarious. And so a couple of years ago, we had a mild earthquake in Chapala. Same thing. I'm running out of my apartment with my to-go bag, and I'm go downstairs because I lived above a restaurant, and I thought I was having a vertigo attack because the room was moving, and I'm trying to get downstairs. And again, people are looking at me like I need to go to the hospital. I'm having a vertigo attack. Anyways, that was two incidents of total laughter on my part, looking like a fool. But the Mexican people were very understanding and like, no, it was a mild earthquake. Anyway, I love it here. So, and the concierge service also provides information about how to resolve disputes with landlords. There is a service available that I will provide on my website when I finally get it done, and I'll be done in the by next week, of how to contact to resolve issues with landlords, because I have had, for a second time, a landlord took my deposit, and I decided that I didn't want the apartment because they were adding fees. And I said, no, I don't want it. I never signed a contract. I never signed a lease. I didn't sign anything. She signed the deposit slip, and then we're talking about 16,500 pesos um, of money that I was not able to get back because I didn't know who to contact. But now I do. So
Oh
that's other
yeah.
information that I provide to um, help people resolve disputes with landlords or anybody else for that matter, but mostly for rental disputes with landlords. So you really need to know what questions to ask. So that's just a small example of what I provide. And if the person decides that they want the apartment, I do not provide service for concierge service for people who are looking to buy here in Mexico. You have to go to a realtor to do that. I don't provide that service. I just want to help people to find the best place for them where they can, as we talk about that soft landing here in Mexico, and be happy with where they choose to live. Because I'll tell you, I don't think this is going to be a good place, a good fit for you. Some people want the central Chapala area, which is fine. This is Mexico. The You have a lot of old world Mexico buildings here. You know, the Mexico doesn't have to comply with the
Yes.
same rental rules that the U.S. does in terms of electricity and whatever else can be a source of dispute in the US or Canada as it is here. Okay. A lot of these older buildings do not have junction boxes in their electric outlets. You just got some hookups in there and you just plug your stuff in. Some of these apartments don't have grounding, the three prong outlets that ground that grounds your electrical appliances. The more modern buildings do now
Mhm.
that they're building here in the Chapala area. And but a lot of the buildings do not. Sometimes you have problems with water. Some of the buildings don't have those, I forgot the name of them, that they put into the plumbing system to keep the smells from the lake from coming into your house. So you get smells from the lake into your house, and it's quite, it's disturbing for a lot of people. They call them, I think they call them P traps, some kind of trap they put into the plumbing to keep the smells away.
Okay.
Um, you, yes, you can get a lot of these apartments do not have mini splits, and it is hot as blue blazes here right now because of the
Mhm.
climate change. Um, and we've been in the 90s for the past couple of month or so. In the 90s, you see Sonny sitting there with a fan. I use a lot of fans, and I do have what they call an evaporative cooler. Once the ice
Mhm.
melts, you're back to the heat. So you need to. These are this is information that I provide for people. If I go look for an apartment for you, and you say, "Well, I want a place that has air conditioner," it's going to cost you more because now you got an electric bill. The landlords don't pay electric bills here, and if you find one that does,
Mhm.
it's rare now because so many people are moving here to Mexico, and the rents are higher now than they ever have been since I first got here 3 years ago. So,
Well, there is definitely an influx. I've certainly seen it in the 3 years that I've been here as well. People
yes,
are migrating and making different moves. You
yes,
uh, uh, you had mentioned a couple things. Number
hmm
one, we're in the middle of a heat wave. There's a heat dome over this part of the world, the
yes,
southeastern United States,
hmm
Mexico, Central America. I mean, it's a real thing, and
hmm
it's hot. It's elevated hot.
hmm
Uh, there is not there is no air conditioning in most of the homes here because for
right,
the most part it's not necessary.
right,
May is pretty much the hottest month of the year, but we are in a heat wave right now. But for the
hmm
most part, air conditioning is not in the buildings because, generally speaking, it's not necessary.
hmm
Um,
hmm
uh, um, you also talked a little bit about the size of the communities. You also made an interesting point about the architecture too. This area of Mexico was not colonized.
right,
These smaller villages, so
hmm
you don't have the same majestic architecture of the colonial periods. You
that's true.
have these are pretty much traditional pueblos made out of cement and what's that word? Not stucco. Stucco, yeah.
hmm
Um, some are made of that combination of straw and cement or whatever. But that's what
Yes.
a lot of the buildings in this part of the country look like.
hmm
So, being aware of the different aesthetics, Mexico was a huge country with beautiful topography and terrain,
hmm
uh, varied cities, international cities, big cities, medium-sized cities, small cities, small towns. So there's a
hmm
lot of variety, and so I think having your concierge service is also helpful because you can help people understand and figure out and sort of break down some of the stereotypes and some of the common misconceptions that people often come here with. So I think your service is very, very
hmm
important. Very important.
Yes, and you're talking about Adobe bricks. Adobe is
Adobe,
what
that's
you,
it. Yes.
yes, and they hold heat, and they also in the winter months here. I I do have a coat. I've never been cold here because it's not in the through the winter months here from, I mean, it's basically the same weather except it's not as hot. But I don't have to wear coats, and I do have sweaters and things when it's chilly. It's a little chilly in the mornings here during the winter months. But for the most part, by 10, 11 o'clock, it has warmed up to 60s and 70-degree weather all through the winter months here in Mexico. I've never burned heat. I don't need heat. I do have a heater in the bathroom because it's kind of chilly in the mornings during the winter months. But other than that, I don't need heat. So, and the
Right.
other part of the concierge service is to just help people to get here and to love being here. And I am, you know, willing and wanting to help anybody. It's just not necessarily women. I have men who contact me as well and say, "Hey, I'm coming to Chapala. I've seen you on Facebook. I've seen you on Mexico Relocate with Mariana. I've seen you on Facebook channels with Chris." And so, um, you know, I think it's very important to provide what people need, and you know, and a part of the B&B, the B&B, we provide. My part of with the concierge service is taxi services. When people come and stay at our B&B, we provide breakfast. We provide the concierge service, which I cook breakfast on on the weekends, and also during the week we provide continental breakfast and taxi service and to and from the airports. We have drivers that I connect with for the bed and breakfast, and this is part of what I do for the B&B, as well as helping people to find a place to live. We're having delay here. Hi, Sonia. Are you still there?
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
I just went ahead and posted up a ticker for the B&B, www.sojourner.com.
Yes.
And also, just to remind people, I'm going to see if I can put yours up too, that it's sunshine.lakechapalaconcierge@gmail.com.
Yes. There's no S
And I
on the
think it's
ending on
exciting
here.
because you're having to do another iteration. You're having to do another iteration of your website because you've had such demand, which I think is a wonderful thing. It's a great
Yes.
thing.
I'm excited.
So we're excited that your concierge business is growing and the B&B is growing. It's an exciting time. Exciting
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you want to share before we close today? Anything else you want us to know?
I just want people to come to Mexico and have the experience. If you're on vacation, if you take 2 weeks of vacation, you need 3 weeks to be here. If you have a 1 week vacation, I think somebody said that, and I'm just repeating what I saw, I think a couple of days ago. If you have a 1 week vacation, plan for two. There's so much to see, um, so much to do, so many places that you can go. I mean, I could travel somewhere in Mexico every weekend for I would say for the next 5 years, if I'm still here. and never see the same place twice. That's how much of Mexico there is to see. And then you can choose where you want to live. I know there are a lot of there. Well, maybe not a lot, but there are people that live in different states in Mexico that can provide service for you. Just get online, go to Facebook, and check out these different states in Mexico, and find out where you want to go and come and visit. I hope you'll come and visit Chapala area first, and let us help you find where you want to go. Stay at our B&B, and like Father's Day at the American Legion. I'm a member of the American Legion as well as their chaplain. I said that earlier. We're having Father's Day is the chili cook-off, which is Father's Day. I think is June 16th, and so yes, that is those are some of the events. I have a friend of mine who contacted me yesterday and says she's coming back for her second visit. You met Jarrell, Sonia, when she was here with her friends. Um, so she's coming back in the next couple of weeks, and we're just going to hang out and have a good time like we did when she was here. We have karaoke at the American Legion every Thursday. Today's my day. And I do post the videos of different people that come out for karaoke, and we just have a great time. Thursdays is my downtime day because I do a lot during the week, and but it's what I want to do. It's not that I'm forced to do it. I'm not forced to work. Um, I'm just enjoying my life because life is too short not to do anything else because it's just too much going on right now, and people are sad, and they are,
And
yeah, and
we
they
should
sad and
live
they don't
every minute of it. And I
know.
love the fact that that's exactly. I'm sorry, we were cross talking. What were you saying?
Just live the best life you can because it's too short not to. There every day, um, somebody is going through grief and loss every day. I see it, I hear it, I experience it because people will talk to me, and you know, all I can tell them is one day at a time because that's all you got. Yesterday's gone forever. Tomorrow's not promised to you, but you have the moments that you're living right now. You have to decide how happy do you want to be with the life that you have right now, or how dysfunctional or sad do you want to be. It's a it's a bad way to leave this earth, sad and disappointed and unhappy because you allow other people to control your life. Don't do that. Come to Mexico and enjoy.
Well, I think that is the perfect place to end. One of the things I have to say that I truly, truly, truly admire about you, Floria Sunshine Johnson, is that you do live your life like sunshine every single day.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
and you are living exactly what you say. This is your best life because you're making it your best life, and you find adventure. You find some sort of adventure every day,
Every
and
day.
that's very, very inspiring to me. And
Hmm.
I think you come to Mexico. If you're watching this, come to Mexico and check it out.
Hmm.
Call Floria, email her at her concierge service.
Hmm.
Get hooked up. Allow us to provide your soft landing, but come
Hmm.
and check us out. You don't have to stay, but at least come and
Right.
visit and
Right.
experience something new.
And
So
what all and also
that's
what
all for
Sonia,
now.
what Sonia and I and Savvy do is, if you let us know that you're coming to Mexico, we will meet you and do a meet and greet to say hello. And that's
Absolutely.
where
It's
we
one of
end
the it's
today.
I love that. I love that.
Yes, yes. I
Yeah.
love meeting people. I met a lady
So
today when I was in
so
the
look
store.
us up.
And okay, okay, yeah, come see us.
Come see us. You've got Floria's information. Reach out to us on YouTube. Let me know if you're watching this on the replay. Uh, check us out in our Facebook group next to the Sojourners. Check us out in our B&B, sojournersvistadelago.com. We're here. We're here to serve, and we hope to serve and to see you. Thank you so much, my dear friend Floria, for this wonderful conversation. You are a
You're welcome.
delight and sunshine in my life. So we'll talk
Thank you,
later. Don't
Sonia. So are
leave
you.
yet because I'm going to end this recording. All right. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody, for watching. Okay. Sometimes it takes a few minutes to end, so we'll just keep talking while it ends. Okay.